push, 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 push. Okay, how you start the swing will decide the kind of energy you're going to have when you hit the ball. So we want to swing with more energy at the beginning, so we get more energy at impact. The first thing I want you to understand is weight shift and pressure are not the same thing. And we don't want the club and our weight shift going in the same direction. We actually want them going in opposite directions, which is why you see a waggle in the swing. So a waggle is when you see the force of the swing going this way, whilst your body shifts the opposite way. Now, I want you to connect the swing to pushing a child on a swing. So imagine this is the child and you're going to give them a very small push. When you do that, you're going to get a small energy back. If you give that a bigger push, then you get more energy back. So that's the key concept. We have to use the ground to start the swing by using the legs. So if you imagine you're in space with no gravity, no ground to push off, and you try to move the club back, your legs will actually turn the opposite way because you've got nothing to push against. So the push at the beginning of the swing with my right leg is going to give my swing the energy to take me into the backswing that I can use in my downswing. The understanding of the concept is way more difficult than actually just doing it. So because the club is pretty light, you're going to have to do some training that forces you to use the correct way to use the leverage from your body, because we can cheat the club because it's really easy to move. So the best thing to do is use a cable. So the heavier you do it, the more difficult it is to do wrong. So if you are really struggling with this concept, you're going to have to go really heavy with the cable. Now I'm going to basically pull this to the right in an arc, down and to the right. And as I do that, I'm creating a force in this direction, and this is opposing me. Now if I do 20 or 30 of those in the wrong way, so imagine I'm using my weight shifting as a concept to create force. Eventually I'm going to do this and get tired, and I'm going to realize it's not an efficient way to move just through repetition. So you might have to do hundreds of these before your body just figures out that the most efficient way is the proper way. As far as I'm concerned, there is no weight shift consciously in the backswing. It's more of a byproduct of trying to create energy, which is a push in this direction, to create the force movement of the club in this direction. So the force movement is always opposite to the movement and the reaction. So if I want to move this club this way, I'm actually going to push the opposite way. I'm going to push this way. To get the force from my right foot, there's going to be a little bump so I can get some weight onto this right foot to push. But it's more of a reaction to the intention of trying to create the energy in this direction. So I'm not consciously trying to weight shift. That's the first thing. The pushing, you should feel like you're pushing in this direction and forwards, so your hip goes backwards, which then sends the energy into the backswing. Okay, the good thing about this concept is it applies to the left side in the downswing. So we're going to use the same force, the same pushing, but just completely the opposite. So instead of me pushing this way, we're going to actually push more away, which is going to clear the hips. So you can actually put this on the other side now. So if you hold it like this, when you do the other side, just make sure you put the cable a bit further to the right, so it's not starting from here. You need to apply the force a lot earlier than that. So we're going to put it slightly past the right leg. Now we're just going to do the same thing. Now because this resistance, it's not likely you would do many times wrong, providing the resistance is quite hard. Okay, here's a training you can do with some triangles. This forces you to sense the force direction. So in the backswing, this right foot, I'm going to have the triangle angled. If it's 12 o'clock here, it's going to be somewhere in between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Now that's going to be my pushing direction. So I'm going to feel like I'm pushing down and forwards, which is going to make me go back. and generate the force into the backswing. So you could just do one leg with this at the beginning and just feel that. I don't need to turn my hips. I'm creating force by pushing, which then turns my hips. So that's my backswing. When I do this, my right leg becomes slightly straight, and then in the backswing, if I keep turning, my ankle is actually going to rotate, and there's going to be a little bit of my foot coming off the ground. If I see the toes going down and the heel coming up, that's going to completely restrict your hip turn. It's not going to allow you to turn your chest, and then you're just going to lift with the arms. So you've got to feel like as you push, the toe comes up. The hip's going to pull the foot over. The foot is going to rotate into the ankle, and it's going to look something like that. Now, the same applies to the left side, but the direction is going to be slightly different just on the opposite side. So now we're trying to generate the force this way, which means we have to push the exact opposite way, which means this way. So I'm going to be pushing, if this is 12 o'clock, this is 9 o'clock, somewhere between 9 and 12 o'clock. Forwards and down. This is going to push my hip back. So this is the same as the backswing. So without the triangle, if I push, as I push, my ankle is going to rotate, and you're going to see part of my toe come up, so you could actually put something underneath. So if you've got a swing where you come through impact and you've got your toe pushing up and you don't have the forward pressure, then your heel's going to come off the ground. You're going to look like this, which I see all the time, and then you're going to end up chicken wing, flip releasing. We want the force going this way, not just up. Okay, so these triangles can really help. Now, it's hard to focus on two things at the same time. So usually I do these parts separately with my students, but if you want to try, put them on both sides. You want to feel push, 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 and then see if you can do that in the swing. So I'm going to feel right leg push, left leg push. Now, because the swing happens so quick, it's very difficult to coordinate this. That's why I like the training with the cables, so that you get the sense, so that it just happens in your swing. So I would recommend that as a daily practice, and then just let the swing develop itself. Okay?